What it is, people, my name is Batman, and I don't think it's fair that poker gets its own slot on ESPN, but gaming doesn't, because gaming takes more skill than poker, and if done properly, gaming should be more fun to watch than goddamn poker. And every gamer, even those who do not watch MLG, has a vested interest in seeing MLG go mainstream. There are significant cultural biases against gaming that need to be overcome for both the sake of gamers and for the sake of humanity itself. And an accessible, professional, competitive media entertainment platform is the best way to quash these cultural biases once and for all. If you were on a date, you would feel comfortable talking about your time on the football team. You could brag about your poker skills, about any number of hobbies, but I bet you wouldn't be itching to start a conversation about your gaming, even if that's your favorite hobby, even if that's a part of who you are. As all our hobbies are, to one extent or another, a part of what makes us us. And even if you did start that conversation, I bet your date wouldn't have any idea what you were talking about. Despite the massive scope of the industry, gaming remains largely taboo to non-gamers. Not necessarily frowned upon, but generally looked down upon. When two young children try to kill another child, instead of having a conversation about mental health, we have a conversation about Slender Man. Always we are the scapegoat, and we need to put a stop to this nonsense. And so long as we are having that conversation, we will never have the conversation we should be having about how gaming is, despite popular belief, very good for you. About the incredible healing that has taken place for Alzheimer's and dementia patients who played games as treatment. About the now emerging scientific consensus that gaming does in fact make your brain more powerful in every sense of the word, nearly on par with the super beneficial effects of reading. The conversation about how gamers are better at working in groups, better at problem solving, how they have more creative solutions to problems, how they are even more likely, statistically speaking, to make the moral choice, because they are so used to playing the hero. And we cannot even begin to have the conversation about what incredible and positive possibilities remain to be discovered and built upon, so long as gaming remains underappreciated and thus vulnerable to the cultural tendency to mistrust and scapegoat games, as has happened so often even in just the last year. It is time to inject a level of appreciation for games into non-gamers, for our sake and everybody else. The only catalyst through which this feat can be accomplished on a mass scale is esports. People like watching skill exhibitions even if they haven't played the particular sport they are watching, and Call of Duty is the tip of the spear, in large part due to its popularity, but also because the beauty of COD is in its simplicity, and that simplicity is what will make it accessible to those who do not play it, which is something League of Legends and StarCraft will simply have a much harder time overcoming when trying to break into the mainstream. If done properly, I see no reason why esports couldn't be at least as popular as poker, and in fact I would argue they could rival sports like tennis and swimming and other not huge but not small skill exhibitions. But thus far, Major League Gaming has not done it properly. MLG tournaments and gameplay don't get the attention they deserve because thus far our method of viewing said gameplay is subpar. I think 10 years from now we will look back on the means by which we viewed MLG gameplay today and laugh, just as those with colored television laugh during the Super Bowl when they look back on the days of watching a football game on the radio. If MLG is serious about appealing to a larger audience, then it needs to drastically change the format in which its tournaments are presented. The vast majority of the non-gaming population views these tournaments with limited amusement at best. This is unacceptable. For a spectator can appreciate a sport they are spectating even if they do not play it, but only if they have a general understanding of what's going on in front of them. Presently, there are two major obstacles preventing the typical audience from having a consistently high quality and enjoyable MLG experience. The first is that it is very difficult for the viewer to comprehend what is going on in the wider match, and if that viewer doesn't play Call of Duty, they will have no idea what's going on, period. This is because we see the entire match through the eyes of only one person at a time. If you saw a football match through the eyes of only one player at a time, you would never know what play was being run. And if you didn't play football and you could only see the game through the eyes of one player at a time, you wouldn't have any idea what the fuck was going on. And that is basically what is happening right now in COD. And now that we have exosuits involved, that problem is only going to get dramatically worse. I often have no idea what the fuck is going on, even on my own screen when I'm the one playing. This nonsense where we switch from the view of one player to the view of some other player on the other team and switching back and forth to random players on opposite sides of the map at random times needs to come to a stop. Call of Duty needs to upgrade the live spectating mechanic and introduce a wide range of different camera angles designed to enhance the audience's experience. The announcers or some camera control room guy can switch between these camera angles angles at will, choosing whichever is showcasing the most exciting action at the time. And we can use these camera angles to actually see what's going on in the entire match. So say it's a match of domination, they should have a camera always watching each flag. And then when a fight breaks out, add a flag, switch to that flag's camera, and let us see a wide berth of that section of the map. And then we can actually see what all the different combatants are doing in a theatrical third-person view, such as that of real sports. You can see how the bigger picture is evolving. We can see two combatants jump dance dueling, which is what I call it when you're each jump thrusting all over the place trying to outmaneuver one another. We can see another guy sniping from the rooftops. We can see the person he's sniping at trying to hug the wall for cover. We can see another guy come sneaking up on the sniper and stab him in the back. We can see that other guy capping the flag. And we can see one more guy way off the inside of the screen trying to lob a frag at that flag. And what's more important is that we can see all these things happening at once. We can see the bigger picture of the match evolving in real time, as opposed to the current system where we just have to guess what is going on at any time in the match, because we can only have the very limited scope of one combatant's view at a time. And again, only COD players can really make sense of what's going on in front of them from the first-person view, especially with exosuits now involved again. A non-COD player will just be confused the whole time. You can see them in the audience at the tournaments. You can tell they're not sure when to applaud, but from a third-person view where you can see large sections of the map as a whole, anyone can figure out what's going on. People can comprehend combatants dueling with guns. They can comprehend the map's setting. They can comprehend who's getting killed and who's not, and who's winning and who's losing, so long as they actually have an opportunity to assess things from a sensible point of view, which currently they do not. So just put these camera angles up all over the place. One camera always following the objective, whether it's the ball and uplink, or a flag and dom, or the bomb and search, and then various camera angles on sections of the map that are known to be high traffic. For instance, you put a camera in that alleyway on Detroit. You know the alleyway I'm talking about. I know the alleyway I'm talking about. We all know which alleyway that is. It's the high traffic alleyway. You put a camera there and just watch shit unfold in that alleyway. Alright, I know in Black Ops 1, they could just bring back their own internal heat maps, right? They could figure out where the most action-packed areas are on a map and then just put a camera there, maybe even give each room its own camera, 4 camera angles on each side of the map, just viewing an entire fourth of the map. And that's not to say they should remove the first-person view entirely. It should absolutely remain an option for the control room camera guy to switch to. Maybe if somebody's grabbed the flag and captured the flag and is running away with it, switch to their view or switch to the view of the person chasing them. In fact, I think they should introduce an app accessible on the computer or the phone or the console that lets each individual member of the audience choose their own camera angle. If there's one particular player they want to watch, if they know Nadeshot is bringing the fucking heat today and they want to watch Nadeshot, let them view his first-person mode. Let them switch back and forth between all the various aforementioned third-person camera angles. Let them go into free roam camera mode. Maybe that would be sick. I think they should also have the option to just view a full screen minimap for a more tactical assessment of the match, or they can simply switch to the announcer's view and then they'll see whatever the announcers are putting up on the screen at the time and talking about, or what have you. Mo options, mo quality, period. They also need the option to turn off the announcers' voices, turn on the audio of one of the teams whenever they want to listen to their super tactical strategic callouts and communication, or turn both off and just watch in silence or listen to some music or something. Now, the announcers themselves, I think, are also sometimes a big turnoff. They need to work on 2 things. The first is relaying to us redundant information. Seems like a lot of the time they don't know what to say, so they just tell us what's going on the screen, even though we are already looking at the screen. For instance, Nadeshot is moving towards the B flag, looks like he's going to try and cap, and uh-oh, he's taking fire. He returns fire, grenade comes in, and oh, the grenade takes him down. I could have figured all that out on my own just watching the screen, you know what I mean? The announcers need to be comfortable with silence every now and then. It feels like they are scared shitless of the idea that they could stop talking for even a second, but if you look at other sports announcers, they aren't desperately trying to fill every moment with their own voices. When something intense is going on in the game, they shut up and let people see what happens. Then, after it happens, they make some comments on it, and because they've shut up for a second and given themselves a chance to think, they usually have something meaningful to add to the conversation. And secondly, they need to calm down a little bit, just like I do. But these MLG announcers lose their fucking shit over the most trivial things. Nadeshot gets a kill, and it's a double kill. Oh, and now he's getting shot at and jumps. And he gets a third. Oh, and he doesn't get the third. Great play by Nadeshot. It's one thing if it's in the last 10 seconds of a match, but it'll be like in the first 10 seconds of the match, and you can't help but think these guys just snorted a bunch of cocaine or something. It gets obnoxious, and worse, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. When you get that excited about everything, people stop taking it seriously when you get excited about anything. So they need to find a balance. Again, they can take a lesson from other sports announcers. You don't see football announcers going off the deep end every time Brady throws for even 40 yards, right? They're impressed. They maybe say something like, Brady going deep and Welker brings it in. And the other guy's like, wow, what a play by Brady. But they are composed. They are not freaking out. You know what I mean? So these are the things that I think MLG and COD ought to get together and work on together to improve, and if they do, the world will be a better place because gamers are the master race. And the For the Win query of the day is, do you personally enjoy watching MLG, and what changes do you think they should make? Please rate. This is Batman, signing out.